السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Welcome back to another episode of Quran in English. My name is Ahmed and I'm happy to take you through the next section of Surah An-Naml, which ends on 55 and starts on 27. It's the 27th chapter. Surah An-Naml means the chapter of the ants. And it ends on a very spicy verse. And I have about 40 minutes to try and get through all of this today, so we'll see if I can manage it all or if I have to put the second part of the... If it comes out today, then it came out today. If it comes out tomorrow, it comes out tomorrow. You'll see. I don't need to explain too much. Anyway, before I get into it, let me explain what am I doing. I'm learning about the Quran. I'm reading it in Arabic but discussing it in English. I will make mistakes. I will have a different perspective than what is the status quo. So if you don't like that, don't watch. But if you do, then this is the channel for you. All right, off we go. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. And it's relevant because it's going to come in this chapter. But off we go. What do we leave? We left with the hoopoe, with Sulaiman saying, "Where's the hoopoe?" And the hoopoe came back saying, "Hey, I have news that you don't know." And so Solomon said, قال سننظر أصدقت أم كنت من الكاذبين. He said, we will wait. We will wait. We will see. Today's after. We will see. We will see if you're speaking the truth or if you are one of the liars. Oh. My alarm to take the vitamins that I've already taken is gone off. Okay. So he said to the hoopoe, we'll see if you're telling the truth or if you are one of the liars. Which is like a strange conversation to be having with a bird. You know what I mean? Interesting. Anyway. So Sulaiman continues. اذهب بكتابي هذا فألقه إليهم ثم تولى عنهم فانظر ماذا يرجعون. Go. So the word is book, but the context explains that it's a letter. Anything that is written is maktub, kitab, written. So it's something that is written. So he wrote something down. We understand it to be a letter. Go with this letter and deliver it to them, then turn away from them and see what they return with. So send them a letter from me and then stand in the back and then kind of see what's happening, because nobody expects that a bird is spying on them. You know what I mean? قالت يا أيها الملأ إني ألقي إلي كتاب كريم. So the Queen of Sheba, Belqis, I think we'll call her, well, for the sake of Queen of Sheba, she said, "O chiefs, indeed for me there is delivered a letter that is noble, a noble letter," and that's a very powerful word, Kareem. إنه من سليمان وإنه بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. It is from Solomon, King Solomon, and indeed it is in the name of God, the most gracious and the most merciful. Yeah, and this you might have heard at the beginning of every episode, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, and it's at the beginning of every chapter of the Quran, apart from one, which we've already covered. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. So the letter is from Sulaiman, and it says, in the name of God, the most compassionate and the most merciful. Yeah, which is a very, very powerful statement. And then the next part confuses me. ألا تعلوا علي وآتوني مسلمين. Do not exalt yourself, do not place yourself above me in stature, do not go against me, above me in stature, and come to me as Muslims, as fully submitting. Like, Islam isn't the idea from back then. Islam, modern days, refers to following the Prophet Muhammad. The act of submission to God is what he's asking for. But it's very interesting. He says, do not ألا تعلوا علي. Do not exalt yourself against me. Don't say that you don't transgress against me. Don't disobey me. In a way, he's not saying don't disobey me. He's saying don't put yourself above me and come fully submitting. So what is he asking? He is asking for them to be humble. Now we're talking about kings and queens and chiefs and armies. And to ask a king or queen or chief or army, actually to ask anybody these days to like humble yourself, ooh, the ego don't like that. But yeah, he's saying, in the name of God, don't exalt yourself and come to me, Muslims. So what did she say? قالت يا أيها الملأ أفتوني في أمري ما كنت قاطعة أمرا حتى تشهدون. She said, O chiefs, advise me in this matter, in this affair. I would not be making the decision, the one decide, any matter until you present me. You are present with me. Yeah, until you witness me. Witness is the correct term. Until you witness, until you give me court. So they said, قالوا نحن أولو قوة وأولو بأس شديد والأمر إليك فانظري ماذا تأمرين. They said, we are the possessors of strength and the possessors of might, that is great, and the matter is to you. The matter comes to you, so look about what you command. So they said, we have the power, we have the strength, it's your choice. What would you like to do? Because another king is telling them, submit, essentially. But he's saying submit to God, he's not saying submit to himself. But in a way, it's both. قالت إن الملوك إذا دخلوا قرية أفسدوها وجعلوا أعزة أهلها أذلة وكذلك يفعلون. She said, indeed, the kings, when they enter a town or a village, they ruin it. They destroyed it. And they make the most honorable of its people the lowest. They humiliate its nobles. And this is how they do. This is what they do. So she's like, okay, so a king is coming telling me to submit. And but I've seen it before. If a king comes into town, they're going to destroy everything. وإني مرسلة إليهم بهداية فناظرة بما يرجع وإني مرسلة إليهم بهداية فناظرة بما يرجع المرسلون. I'm trying to do this. It's fine. She said, but I am going to send to them a gift, and I will see with what they return the messages, with what the messengers will return with. So here they've added a little footnote, because they've also read through. The footnote is, she wanted to test Solomon to see if he was only a king, so that he would be satisfied with a tribute or money, is that what he wants, or a prophet who would settle with the submission to the true God. Which I think is a bit more complicated. I think what she said in the previous verse, she wants us to understand what he wants. So she's sending him a gift and she's seeing his reaction. Does he want to invade, corrupt? She's testing his ego, essentially. She's saying, does he want things, or does he want what he truly wants, which is that he wants us to submit to God. فلما جاء سليمان قال أتمدونني بمال فما آتاني الله خير مما آتاكم بل أنتم بهديتكم تفرحون. So when it came to Solomon, King Solomon, he said, do you provide me wealth? What has been given to me by God is better from what he has given you. Nay, you are the ones in your gift rejoicing. You are the ones that rejoice in your gift. This gift is for you. This is what you value, not what I value. God has given me more and greater. أرجع إليهم فلنأتينهم بجنود لا قبل لهم بها ولا نخرجنهم منها أذلة وهم صاغرون. He said, return to them, so we will come to them with armies that they will not be able to resist. They will not be able to resist of it, and surely we will drive them out from there in humiliation while they are صاغرون is small. Hi ZBDB. While they are small, but she means that they're fully humbled. Hi ZB, no MTG. I told you we quit. I'm a Quran reader now. But nice to see you. Interesting to see you on YouTube, not on Twitch. Hello. Yeah, so what was Solomon's message is that go back to them and we'll come to them with armies that they cannot resist and we will drive them out from there in humiliation. Like he was angry with the offer. So the way that she's testing him out is kind of working in a way because she's like, oh, okay, this guy means what he says. And they will be abased. He said they'll be like very humiliated, fully humbled. Let's see what the footnote says. If they refuse to submit, which we'll see. But Solomon had another idea. قال يا أيها الملأ أيكم يأتيني بعرشها قبل أن يأتوني مسلمين. He said, O chiefs, which of you will bring me her throne before they come to me in submission? So he sent word, he said, I'm going to destroy you unless you come to me in submission. So she's on her way, but he told his chiefs, who's going to bring me her throne before they get here? Which sounds a bit insane, but this is where magic comes in. Oh, Zibi, actually you asked for magic, and magic has arrived in the Quran. That's very interesting. قال عفريت من الجن أنا آتيك به قبل أن تقوم من مقامك وإني عليه لقوي أمين. An Ifrit said, Ifrit. So they've translated it to mighty jinn. Ifrit is a type of jinn, as we understand it in different contexts. I don't know specifically where it comes, but either way, it's not a human. It's a spiritual creature. A spiritual creature. Oh, from jinn. That's how we know it's from jinn, because it said it in the next words. قال عفريت من الجن. So Ifrit is a type of jinn. I am bringing to you. I'll bring to you the throne before you stand or you rise from your seat. As you're seated, by the time you get up, I'll bring it to you. And indeed, I am surely strong and surely trustworthy. But Solomon gets another better offer. قال الذي عنده علم من الكتاب أنا آتيك به قبل أن يرتد إليك طرفك فلما رآه مستقرا عنده قال هذا من فضل ربي ليبلوني وأشكر أم أكفر ومن شكر فإنما يشكر لنفسه ومن كفر فإنه ربي غني كريم. And then said the one that was with him, which we don't know who this is, but someone that was with Solomon. So it felt like one of his chiefs, but this one's not one of his chiefs because he's with him rather than one of his chiefs. Oh, sorry, no, I misunderstood. So the one who said, who has with him the knowledge. Guys, I'm tired, I'm sorry. The one who said that has with him knowledge from the book. Now, the book is a term that we have heard time and time again. The Quran is often referred to as the book. But this was at the time of King Solomon. This was before the Quran. Again, the book is more than just the Quran. The Quran is a part of the book, but the book is so much more. It has some knowledge. It is in heaven. It belongs with God. There's a specific book, and people have specific access to it. And the one who has knowledge from the book said, indeed, I will bring to you the throne before that it returns to you your eyelash. Before the blink of an eye. Before you can blink, I will bring you the throne. So immediately when Solomon saw the throne placed before him, like before he blinked his eyes, the throne was there. He said, oh, okay. All right, this thing that just happened is huge. It's like power that you've never seen before. And he said immediately, this is from the favor of God, the favor of my God, so that he may test me. Immediately when something magnanimous and amazing happens, he said, this is a test. Something fantastic has happened, and it's a test. Am I grateful? Do I give thanks? Or am I ungrateful? Do I forget that this comes from God? And whoever is grateful, then indeed he is grateful for his own soul, for his own self. And whoever is ungrateful, then indeed my Lord is self-sufficient and all-noble. This is a very, very, very powerful lesson. That when really good things happen, we have to be the most mindful of God and the most thankful and not bang our own chest. It's not just when bad things happen that you ask for God. It's also when good things happen. Like you immediately, when something good happens, you have to thank God, because it's like, remember that this is all blessings. And the opposite is, if you don't remember and you're not grateful to God, then God doesn't need you. You're not thanking God for God's sake, you're thanking God for your sake. It's good to consistently keep your ego in check in order for you to be a well-balanced human and to walk the correct path. Powerful lesson. Also, some serious magic. Like, this is kind of giving you an understanding of what the jinn are capable of, whatever. We don't know, but the one who had the knowledge of the scripture. We don't know who or what that was. But I imagine that they must have had access to heaven at some point, because that's where the books lie, I think. I'm not sure. قال نكروا لها عرشها تنظر أتهتدي أم تكون من الذين لا يهتدون. He said, disguise for her throne, so we will see if she will be guided or she will be the ones who are not guided. Assalamu alaikum, bro. I am from Bangladesh. I'm learning English through learning Quran in English. Nice. Welcome to my channel. Thank you for joining me, and I hope that you have a good time. Let me know if you have any questions. Let me move this a little bit to the side. So he said, disguise their throne and see if she'll be guided or if she'll be the ones that are not guided. He's now testing her in return. فلما جاءت قيل أهكذا عرشك قالت كأنه هو وأوتينا العلم من قبلها وكنا مسلمين. Now, this part confuses me a little bit. When it said, so when she came, it was said, is your throne like this? She said, it is like it. It is very much like it. And then it says, وَأُوتِينَا الْعِلْمَ مِنْ قَبْلِهَا وَكُنَّا مُسْلِمِينَ. And we were given the knowledge from before her, and we were Muslims. Which surah is it, bro? It is in the top right. You can see it's Surah An-Naml, chapter 27, Surah An-Naml, the chapter of the ants. So it says, we were given knowledge from before her, and we have been Muslims. I don't know who said this. So here it's saying, because he refused her tribute. وَأُوتِينَا الْعِلْمُ مِنْ قَبْلِهَا. But we were given the knowledge from before her. So he had refused her tribute. So before her doesn't make sense in this context. وَكُنَّا مُسْلِمِينَ. I think, if I understood it correctly, the way that I understood it the previous time that I read it earlier today, is that before we were given the knowledge that God exists, and from before her, and we were Muslims. We used to be Muslims. I think this is what it's saying, because as it continues, it makes more sense. وصدها ما كانت تعبد من دون الله إنها كانت من قوم كافرين. And what stopped her from believing, they used to be Muslims, and what stopped her from believing, from worshipping God, from worshipping besides God, min dun Allahi, from without God, from besides God. It's very important because the last verse is going to be very difficult. And what stopped her from worshipping God, min dun Allahi, from besides God, is that she was from a people that were disbelieving. So she used to believe, but she stopped believing because the people around her stopped believing. I am working on Surah Al-Fajr, verses 27 to 30. I haven't reached Surah Al-Fajr. Al-Fajr? I haven't reached that. We're in chapter 27, Surah An-Naml. So I think she used to believe, so this makes more sense to me. They were given knowledge from before her, and they used to be Muslims, but what stopped her from worshipping God is that her people were disbelieving. So she used to believe, but then she stopped because the people around her didn't believe. قيل لها ادخلي الصرح فلما رأته حسبته لجة وكشفت عن ساقيها قال إنه صرح ممرد من قوارير قالت ربي إني ظلمت نفسي وأسلمت مع سليمان لله رب العالمين. So when it was said to her, enter the palace. So when she saw the palace floor, she thought it was a pool. She thought, oh, this is water. So she uncovered her shins, she uncovered her feet, and she was about to step into it. But Sulaiman said, "No, indeed, it's a palace. It's marble. It's made smooth from glass. So what you're looking at, it's glass. It's not water. It's glass, and it's just made smooth." And that's when she realized that what Solomon possesses so much greater than she's seen before. And she said, "My Lord, indeed, I have wronged myself, and I submit with Solomon to God, the Lord of the worlds." Which is kind of funny that was the moment that brought her back to God. The paneling on the floor, the clear glass making her think it was water. That was the moment she saw God's glory and God's grace, which is kind of amazing. Our roads to Damascus, for lack of a better phrase, even though I hate that example from Paul, and we'll get into the critique of the Bible at a later date, our come to God moments come in different ways and shapes and forms. There's a specific moment that helps us come to God, I think. We all have a different way. Some never do, so good luck. But hers came through the floor, and that's when she realized that I've wronged my soul, and now I fully submit with King Solomon, king of the worlds. Beautiful story. وَلَقَدْ أَرْسَلْنَا إِلَى ثَمُودَ أَخَاهُمْ صَالِحًا أَنِ اعْبُدُوا اللَّهَ فَإِذَا هُمْ فَرِيقَانِ يَخْتَصِمُونَ. And when we sent to Thamud their brother Salih, we know Salih went to Thamud, and it was their brother, so he was a part of them, that they should worship God. Then behold, there were two parties that were quarreling. There were two opposing groups. There's also there are verses of Surah Al-Hashur. I don't know what you're saying. But they became into two parties, believers and disbelievers, which generally the world is saying... You're saying, why does God say we in the Quran? That's a good question. God uses we in the Quran quite a lot. As I understand it, it means God and the forces at his disposal. Sometimes it's the spirit, sometimes it's the angel, sometimes it's the inhabitant of heaven. I don't fully understand why he uses we, but it is common to use we to refer to the forces that are aligned with God. Not just, because there are some people that are anti-God, for example, and there are some things that are adversaries. It's hard to say adversaries of God, but it just means the we. It's God and a few of the entities that exist in the world, the angels, the spirits, some of the believers. قال يا قوم لما تستعجلون بالسيئة قبل الحسنة لولا تستغفرون الله لعلكم ترحمون. He said, "My people, why do you hasten the evil before the good?" So they're hastening the punishment. Oh, if you're going to punish us, bring the punishment. Why do you hasten the punishment before the good? If you had only asked for forgiveness from God so that you may receive mercy. Because we all need mercy. Okay. قالوا أطيرنا بك وبمن معك قالوا أطيرنا بك وبمن معك قال طائركم عند الله بل أنتم قوم تفتنون. They said, "You're a bad omen for us and those who are with you. You and those who are with you are a bad omen. This feels bad." And he said, "Your bad omen is with God. Like, I'm not what's going to make you suffer. God's going to make you suffer. You need to pay attention to him. Nay, you are a people that are being tested," which is true about all humans. Got it, brother. And angels are worked together, and that's why we must use we. It could be angels, it could be the spirit. It's a lot more than just the angels. So they said, "You're a bad omen for us," because they felt it. They were struck with a famine, and they blamed Salih and his followers. Oh, that's right. This was the story of the she-camel. And he told them, "You have to take care of the she-camel," but they didn't listen to the she-camel. So since he came, they said, "Oh, look, all these bad omens are coming because you are around." And he's like, no, these bad omens are coming because God's telling you, believe and do good. And if you're not doing it, you're being tested. If you don't follow the test, you're gonna fail. وكان في المدينة تسعة رهط يفسدون في الأرض ولا يصلحون. And it was in the city 9 family heads. They spread corruption in the land and they do not do good. Sound familiar? Yeah, it sounds like a lot of our leaders these days. قالوا تقاسموا بالله
لنبيتنه
قالوا تقاسموا بالله لنبيتنه وأهله ثم لنقولن لوليه ما شهدنا مهلك أهله وإنا لصادقون. That was difficult. They said, swear to each other, swear by God to each other that we will attack him by night and his family, and then surely we will say to his heir, we did not witness the destruction of your family, and we are telling the truth. So they planned a meeting. Vowed means that they promised. They made a deal. They made a promise. So here they're saying, okay, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to attack him at night, and then we're going to tell his heirs that we're going to attack him at night, and we're going to tell his heirs that we didn't attack him, and that we are telling the truth. So they made a plan. You know what I mean? They made a plan to say, okay, we won't kill him, and we're going to make a plan. And here it says, continues, وَمَكَّرُوا مَكْرًا وَمَكَّرْنَا مَكْرًا وَهُمْ لَا يَشْعُرُونَ. So they plotted a plan. They made a plan, and we made a plan. So this is God and his angels and forces at his disposal. So the people made a plan, and God made a plan, while they do not perceive. And if I had to trust between humans or God, I'll put my faith in God. You know what I mean? فانظر كيف كان عاقبة مكرهم أنا دمرناهم وقومهم أجمعين. So see how it was the end of their plot. We know in the end of the time they were destroyed. Their plan failed. God succeeded. They suffered. That we destroyed them and their people all together. Boom. Done. God wins. Their plan failed and his plan succeeded. فتلك بيوتهم خاوية بما ظلموا إن في ذلك لآية لقوم يعلمون. So these are their houses that are ruined and empty because of what they wronged. Indeed, in that is a sign for people who know. And I think, I can't remember if his sign was the people of the rock. I think Thamud were the people in the rock. And I have a feeling it was Petra. I don't know why. That people can kind of go see these ruins, but you have ruins all over. You can kind of see these ruins of civilizations that built structures and felt so strong and big, and then God was like, ha! And then finished them off. And that becomes a sign for those who know. If you know the story, then you understand why that's a sign that God exists and why that's a sign that God is great. وَأَنْجَيْنَا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَكَانُوا يَتَّقُونَ. And we saved the ones who believed and they used to be mindful. Mindful is the correct word. Fear is not. Because of their wrongdoing. Exactly. Circline English? Circline English. So we saved the ones who believed. So it's not just they destroyed everyone. If you believe and be mindful, you will be saved. And now the last two verses for today, obviously going to be very spicy. But وَلُوطًا إِذْ قَالَ لِقَوْمِهِ أَتَأْتُونَ الْفَاحِشَةَ وَأَنْتُمْ تُبْصِرُونَ. And Lut, the prophet Lut, if he said to his people, do you commit the the sexual sin of immorality? Well, fahisha can also mean non-sexual sin, but it does apply to a sexual sin, and we will see why in a second. Do you commit this grave error while you are observing, while you can see? وَأَنْتُمْ تُبْصِرُونَ. While you see. I wonder if seeing has anything to do with it. But anyway. أَإِنَّكُمْ لَتَأْتُونَ الرِّجَالَ شَهْوَةً مِّن دُونِ النِّسَاءِ بَلْ أَنْتُمْ قَوْمٌ تَجْهَلُونَ. Do you approach men with lust? من دون النساء. They've translated it to instead of women, but it can also mean without women. I will die on this grave. Do you enter lust after men without women? Nay, you are a people that are ignorant. Rebuked, meaning, where is rebuked? Did we say rebuked? Prophet Lut when he came, yes. English brother, circle line nickname. Prophet Lut when he came, rebuked meaning? Oh, I think I must have said it. I don't know what rebuked means to argue against something. So most commonly, this phrase إنكم لتأتون الرجال شهوة من دون النساء is a phrase that is used by a lot of people to indicate that, oh, this means that they were being homosexual because they were lusting over men, not women. Now, my perspective on this verse that gets repeated many, many times is several things are being said. You're approaching men with lust. من دون النساء can mean instead of women, because we heard it before. We've heard it many times in the Quran. من دون الله يعبدون من دون الله. They worship instead of God. So it can mean instead of. 100%. I agree. It can also mean without women. And then the questions come up to mind. Does that mean approaching women with lust is good? And what does that mean for women? Are women allowed to approach women with lust? Because that doesn't make sense if in the context of anti-homosexuality. And what does it mean to approach love? And does it have anything to do with وَأَنْتُمْ تُبْصِرُونَ, while you see? And we have seen the story of Lut multiple times in the Quran, and the story of Lut, of them refusing the angels being sent down. Now, I'm a fan of Occam's razor. Occam's razor is the simplest explanation, is usually the correct one. I completely understand why the simplest explanation of this, إنكم لتأتون الرجال شهوة من دون النساء, sounds like this is the most simplest explanation, is that you're lusting after men, not women. But it does not encounter for both genders. It doesn't account for men and women. And we do know that the wife of Lut was one of the offenders, and she stayed back and she suffered the punishment from God. So what was her sin? Her sin was lusting over men instead of women? Because then aren't women supposed to be attracted to men? Which then makes me go, it doesn't make sense that this is about attraction to men and not women. You know what I mean? Because again, his wife had committed the same sins. And it doesn't apply to women in general. What, does this verse not apply to women? What were the women doing? Because the people of Lut were committing al-fahisha, not just the men. And I know that qawm can mean men, but qawm can also mean men and women. If anything doesn't make sense to you, please share problems with an Islamic knowledgeable person. No, that is not what I'm doing here at this channel. I'm here trying to understand and form my own opinions, because I would like to see what I understand first. Maybe at a later date I'll enter negotiations and discussions with others. But for now, I want to see what I understand. And I cannot see this as meaning, because it's saying attraction to men, like lusting over men, and the word is min dunin nisa. Min dun can also mean without, as well as instead of. Listen, I get it. It's going to be one of those where I have a different perspective for a long time, and I have a very specific reason for it. بل أنتم قوم تجهلون. I understand what the Muslim community has learned from this. I understand why, and I completely get it. When I first read it, I was like, yeah, this is anti-homosexuality. But the more that I look at it, the more that I'm like, I don't know. I don't think so. It doesn't make sense. Because what is the crime of the women? It doesn't make sense. Is the Quran just addressing men? What were the women's faults? Why was the ajuz? We heard it in the previous chapter. Illa ajuzatan. Except for an old lady. She stayed behind and she suffered. What was her crime? Lusting over men instead of women? Make it make sense. Yeah, I know that your mom inspired you to read. It's a bunch of things. I've discussed Quran with my mom. I've discussed Quran with my dad. I've discussed Quran with strangers. I post online. I am very much interested in figuring out what is the truth and what is accurate and what is fixed. And I don't see this as anti-homosexuality. I see this, like one scenario, the example in my mind is that you're lusting over men instead of women. Does that mean that you should lust over women instead of men? Does that mean that women should not lust over anyone? Does that mean only men should lust over men? Like, there's so many things that don't make sense. If you use the example of without women, does that mean that we should lust over men and women? Maybe they were just idolizing men and abusing men. There's also the concept of rape, because it comes up in the concepts of other stories and other verses that talk about the Quran, because the messengers came to Lut and his people wanted them, but Lut said no, but then they still wanted them, which again indicates a lack of consent. There are so many questions, and it's not clear to me. And I have been looking at this specific verse, إنكم لتأتون الرجال شهوة من دون النساء, for like several years, and thinking about it a lot. And yeah. Anyway, that's the verses for today. Thank you all for watching. I appreciate you. And as usual, we always end with صدق الله العلي العظيم, and you guys will catch me when you catch me. I don't know when I'll do it next. But I'll see you then. Thanks for watching. مع السلامة. Bye.